Ever feel like you're drowning in information, yet somehow still not truly in the know?
Oh, absolutely. It's that modern paradox, isn't it? So much data flying around.
Exactly. An endless stream, but often the really crucial insights feel just out of reach. That's exactly why we created the deep dive. Your ultimate shortcut to being genuinely well-informed without all that overwhelm. Today, we're embarking on a deep dive into a truly fascinating and, frankly, urgent situation unfolding in Finland.
Finland,
There,
yeah.
for years, this nation, often seen as this beacon of stability, has actually been grappling with some really deep-seated systemic issues. But now, our sources are pointing to a groundbreaking, almost surgical solution emerging, one that could truly be, well, life-saving for the country.
Yeah, and what we're going to explore is something called the 3D economy, or more formally, the Digital Sustainable Growth Model, DSGM. And this isn't just some, academic theory. It's actually being presented as a must-have solution to these critical national challenges.
Challenges that have been getting worse for years, right?
It's exactly,
Oh, yeah.
deteriorating for years. So the urgency is really palpable. It's seen as a vital intervention for a nation that's genuinely at a crossroads.
Our sources for this deep dive are truly compelling. We've pulled from extensive research papers by the Human Information Technology Lab, that's HIT Lab in Finland,
Teacher lab.
plus a new book specifically on digital sustainable growth and some other really insightful analyses.
Okay.
Okay, let's unpack this. So, Finland,
Mm.
a nation we often admire, right?
Mhm.
Quality of life, strong social safety nets, that unique cultural thing, sisu.
Right, that resilience.
Yeah. Yet beneath that surface, our sources reveal this quiet but pervasive crisis. We're seeing what's described as burgeoning stress levels within global economic systems, and that's compounded by a widening debt payment gap.
Which is a huge issue globally, of course.
Absolutely. And Finland, remarkably, is highlighted as a prime example of this sustainability gap. Its economic production, once really robust, is now described as losing momentum. And those very social services meant to support people, they're actually becoming a heavy burden. It's quite a striking picture for a place known for stability.
And if you connect that to the deeper societal struggles, it gets even clearer. Finland's historical preference for, concrete steps, planning, that strong individuality, the sisu thing we mentioned.
Yeah, their strength.
Well, it was a strength, but the sources suggest it's paradoxically led to something they call sisu inflation.
Sisu inflation, what does that mean exactly?
Essentially, it means that what was once resilient resolve has kind of evolved into a form of cognitive rigidity.
Ah, okay. So resistant to change.
Pretty much. This collective mindset struggles with flexibility, with new ideas, and it's actively slowing growth, creating this widening gap between social progress and economic development. And the human cost is significant. A worrying increase in mental health figures, growing social agitation. It really makes Finland a critical, demanding case for some kind of intervention. Shows how even strengths can become hurdles if they don't adapt.
Wow. And the complexity doesn't stop there, does it? Because the digital world, which should offer potential.
Right. It has its own challenges.
Exactly. It's introduced significant digital hazards. We're talking technostress, digital addiction, cognitive disruption, all feeding into this alarming burden on psychological clinics.
And hitting young people particularly hard, I believe the sources mention.
Yes, making them feel older, biologically, socially, psychologically. And here's a really baffling paradox that the sources highlight. Finland apparently has tens of thousands of vacancies,
Right.
but also hundreds of thousands of qualified applicants. How does that even work? How can you have so many talented people looking for work and so many jobs unfilled? What's blocking things?
That's a great question, and it leads right into this challenge the sources call seek it.
Seeky?
Yeah. It refers to, according to the research, these powerful anonymous figures within Finland's government, people operating behind the scenes to basically maintain the status quo. They effectively avoid responsibility, hinder progress, even when governments try to bring in crucial reforms.
Like what kind of reforms?
Well, a key example given is the flexicurity model from Denmark, aimed at making the labor market more flexible, which worked elsewhere.
Okay.
But it failed to get proper traction or implementation in Finland. And the sources point to this internal systemic resistance, the siku factor, as a major reason why. It shows this deeply embedded cultural inertia blocking meaningful change, even when solutions seem clear.
Okay, so faced with this complex, deteriorating situation, this internal resistance, let's turn to the proposed surgical solution.
Right, the DSGM.
This is where the digital sustainable growth model, the DSGM or the 3D economy comes in. And it really is pitched as a foundational shift. Instead of just focusing on traditional labor, the DSGM centers on talent. Economic value comes from individuals' continuous contributions to innovation, knowledge exchange, skill development.
So leveraging human ingenuity more dynamically.
Exactly, in a much more integrated way.
And what's fascinating here is how the DSGM is designed to, well, surgically address those deep-seated national issues. Its core objectives: streamline innovation, ensure fair wealth distribution.
How does it do the wealth distribution part?
By enabling individuals to regain control over their personal data and, crucially, even monetize their data.
Monetize personal data. So
Yeah.
my preference is my skills. That becomes income.
That's the idea. Not just income for big tech, but for the individual. By doing that, the model aims to shrink that welfare sustainability gap we talked about
Okay.
and create a new mechanism for debt repayment. It's a novel way to tackle national, maybe even global debt by generating new, broad-based economic value.
And here's where it gets really interesting. The DSGM is presented as, quote, a truly new economic infrastructure. Apparently, it draws inspiration from biological ecosystems, aiming for adaptive, self-regulating systems that can thrive amid complexity, like how nature finds balance.
It's like a blueprint for economies to evolve organically, adaptively.
So why Finland? Why is Finland the test case here?
Because it's basically serving as the critical living laboratory for this potentially life-saving model, that lab we mentioned, HIT lab.
Yeah, the Human Information Technology Lab.
They've been rigorously testing the DSGM for 15 years. 15 years inside Finland.
Wow, that's a long time.
It is. And this long-term real-world validation in a complex, multi-stakeholder, innovation-driven nation proves its adaptability, its effectiveness. It shows it's not just theory, but a robust, tested solution for a country facing these kinds of deep challenges.
Okay, so 15 years of testing. What specific applications have come out of that within the DSGM?
Well, there are several key ones highlighted.
Right. First, there's the Dream City Club. This sounds like an international foundation.
It is designed to foster promising young innovators, creators, researchers, entrepreneurs.
So supporting new talent.
Exactly, providing continuous care for company growth, literally from high school ideas right through to international export. And what's unique is its broad membership individuals, companies, schools, universities, banks, NGOs, creating this vast collaborative ecosystem.
Okay, Dream City Club.
Right.
What's next? Then there's the Life Matrix. This is described as far advanced than the usual profiles, like a dynamic official ID.
Yeah, think beyond the static CV. It's designed to focus on an individual's future potential, their talents, not just past jobs.
And crucially, it enables information ownership and earning potential. How does that work?
Well, for example, users could sell targeted ad space on their personal web pages, turn their digital presence directly into income. And the collective data from all these matrices, that provides vital insights for community development, helps figure out where to build a school, what training programs are needed, based on people's actual wishes and talents.
Got it. So Dream City Club, Life Matrix, and then the core seems to be the Maestro Network.
That's right. This enables what the sources call the citizen transaction. It's described as a me-to-be economy.
Me to be person to business.
Exactly, where people sell their ideas, offer market feedback, maybe license ad space directly to companies, a direct value exchange.
Okay, that sounds radical.
It is.
Yeah.
And here's the truly transformative idea tied to it. The model suggests every citizen could have a steady basic income from birth.
From birth. Ow.
The idea is that even a newborn generates valuable data, and by actively participating later, sharing ideas, feedback, you could significantly increase that income.
So the goal is?
The aspiration mentioned is nothing less than zero unemployment. Everyone contributes to the labor market through their data, which can be monetized.
Zero unemployment. That's ambitious.
Highly ambitious.
And finally, there's Bank Rabna. What role does that play?
Bank Rabna is positioned as a kind of custodian of collective human resources and humanity's intellectual property.
Okay.
It introduces a groundbreaking monetization system for various forms of data, allows users to convert currency into flexible shares, making transactions smoother.
And it has a feature for dealing with debt.
Yes, a really powerful one. Debt to equity conversion. Imagine a country or a company with huge debt. Instead of just paying it back, Bank Rabna allows that debt to be transformed into equity shares. So the lender now owns a piece of the borrower's future success.
Ah, so it aligns incentives. Reduces risk.
Precisely. Turns burdens into shared investments, aiming to reduce financial risks globally. But what's truly fascinating, I think, is how these technical solutions are deeply tied to the human element, human flourishing.
How so?
The DSGM actively integrates Jungian cognitive functions, how people perceive, make decisions directly into the innovation process itself.
Okay, so not just MBTI types, but the actual functions.
Yeah. Exactly. It acknowledges the dynamic nature of these functions. The goal is to optimize talent management, enhance creativity by building teams with diverse cognitive strengths. It's a fundamental shift in how we approach problem solving and collaboration in the economy.
Which brings us right back to that life-saving dimension you mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't just about economics, is it? It's presented almost as therapy, a new level of psychosocial and economic therapy designed to harmonize the personality of the Finnish citizen.
That's the language used. The goal is profound, to transform character weaknesses and strengths in a massive reform across society.
And crucially, to raise people's morale and restore their self-confidence, addressing those psychological challenges head-on.
And for those very real digital hazards, the technostress, the addiction, the DSGM offers a specific technological answer, an AI-based risk scoring system.
Okay, how would that work?
It's designed to be integrated into digital platforms, devices, continuously monitoring user interactions, quantifying digital risk in real time.
And then what? It just tells you you're at risk.
It provides transparency, yes, but also personalized recommendations and mitigation strategies. Things like adjusting screen time, maybe suggesting digital detox activities. It's a direct, data-driven response to that deteriorating mental health landscape linked to digital life.
Okay, now this next bit from the sources. It introduces a dimension you don't often see in economic models. It's quite thought-provoking.
Right, the spiritual aspect.
Yeah. The creators of DSGM argue that for artificial general intelligence, AGI, to reach its full potential and avoid unbalanced, confused, narrow options, wrong decisions, it's actually a must to integrate the spiritual domain.
That's a strong claim.
It is. And here the sources explicitly present Islam as a divine framework. They call it a linchpin for cultivating sustainable AI, guiding ethical standards, data handling, ensuring data is treated properly, truthfully, privately. It's a very specific, maybe surprising inclusion in this tech framework.
And this emphasis on integration, on ethics, leads into the concept of harmony.
Harmony.
Yeah, presented as the optimum state of feeling secure and having everything under control. The sources even say this is the brain's main function.
Okay.
And the model introduces something called the X-harmony factor, key not just in human relationships like marriage, but also in problem solving and even AI development itself.
So harmony applies to AI too.
According to this framework, yes. It aims to actively counter the chaos that the sources say Satan desires to create that state of despair, imbalance. It seeks order, well-being instead. What's fascinating is how these specific spiritual ideas are presented as directly relevant to building ethical AI.
Right. Okay, broadening out from Finland now.
Yeah.
This DSGM model and its components like DSM 2.0, they're not just meant for Finland, are they?
No, the vision is much bigger. They're envisioned for broader adoption across the EU.
As a kind of virtual EU.
Exactly. The ambitious goal is boosting GDP, tackling talent shortages by letting, 500 million EU citizens and millions of businesses operate seamlessly across borders within this digital economy.
And this vision even includes artificial humanity.
Yeah, the idea of artificial humanity coexisting with human intelligence. Models like Bankrabna and another mentioned Al-Forkwan are seen as key to managing that collective human knowledge and data to create economic value and drive sustainable development.
So fostering collaboration between humans and AI.
That's the idea. To tackle complex global issues, unlock new kinds of prosperity.
So what does this all mean for you listening? The DSGM, as these sources present it, is designed as this fundamental shift, aiming to balance economic growth with social well-being.
Right. Using technology ethically in a human-centric way.
It proposes this truly surgical approach to deep systemic problems, starting with Finland as a critical case, but with eyes on a much wider global impact.
And maybe the takeaway thought is this. If a whole nation's existence and well-being might depend on mastering this kind of knowledge innovation, ethical AI, well, what daily problems in your own life could benefit from a similar surgical approach? Finding harmony, finding balance. What long-standing issue could be transformed if you shifted your perspective, maybe reevaluated what value or contribution really means in that context?
That's a powerful thought to leave with. And that wraps up our deep dive today, exploring everything from Finland's critical challenges to this holistic, potentially life-saving solution proposed by the digital sustainable growth model.